What if you woke up to a world teetering on the brink of World War III? How would you brace yourself? Now dwell on this. How would the creme de la creme of society gear up? Visualize, for instance, the likes of Warren Buffett or Bill Gates. Consider the meticulous plans they might have in place, the elaborate strategies they would execute. The arsenal of survival tools and resources they have at their disposal is astounding. From state-of-the-art bunkers to private islands, from private jets for quick escape to personal armies for defense, their resources are beyond imagination. It's not just about survival, but thriving even amidst chaos. The disparity between the preparations of the common man and affluent is striking indeed. The former might stockpile canned goods and water, while the latter have access to personal chefs and desalination plants. Strap in, folks, as we delve into this fascinating world of disparity. Get ready to explore the 17 quirky preparations, how the rich gear up for World War III, featuring real-life examples of the world's wealthiest individuals and their intricate plans for survival. First off, the rich invest in survival essentials, but with a twist. Now, when we talk about survival essentials, we're not talking about your run-of-the-mill camping gear or a basic survival kit. Oh no, the wealthy take it up a notch, or perhaps a few dozen notches. Take luxury bunkers, for example. These aren't your average backyard fallout shelters. These are like five-star hotels, buried deep underground. They've got everything from indoor pools to wine cellars, gourmet kitchens, and even home theaters. You might be thinking, well, if I have to survive a nuclear apocalypse, I might as well do it in style. And the price tag? Well, let's just say you could buy a small island with that kind of money. Next up on the list is private security. Now, this isn't your average neighborhood watch. These are ex-military special forces types, trained to protect against any and all threats. So if the apocalypse does come knocking, these folks are prepared to kick it right back out the door. And the cost of such top-notch protection? Well, it's not exactly pocket change, but then again, when you're preparing for the end of the world, you want the best of the best, don't you? Lastly, we have high-tech survival gadgets. These aren't your typical Swiss Army knives or fire starters. We're talking about drones for scouting, state-of-the-art water purifiers, and even wearable tech that can monitor vital signs and predict illnesses. It's like having a private doctor, a scout, and a survival expert all in one. And while these gadgets might cost more than your car, they could be the difference between life and death in a post-apocalyptic world. So, you see, even in survival, the rich go for gold, literally and metaphorically. Moving on, when you're rich, your network is your net worth, even in World War III. Yes, folks, it's all about the power of connections. And let's dive into how those blessed with deep pockets can leverage this to their advantage. First off, let's talk about political influence. Money talks, and when you're loaded, it tends to speak volumes. From securing favorable policies to gaining access to classified information, political sway can be a game changer. It's not just about schmoozing at cocktail parties, though. It's about forging relationships that could tip the scales in your favor when push comes to shove. Next up, we have private intelligence. Now, this isn't about hiring James Bond, but rather about having access to information that can provide an edge. This could be insights into economic trends, potential threats, or the latest tech advancements. It's about staying one step ahead of the game and knowing when to make your move. Remember, knowledge is power, and in a world on the brink, it's the ultimate currency. Finally, we come to alliances with other powerful individuals. Think of it as the ultimate "you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours" scenario. These alliances can offer protection, resources, and a safety net when things go south. It's about pooling resources and expertise to ensure survival. After all, even the richest can't go it alone in a world turned upside down. So, as we can see, connections are not just about hobnobbing at high society events. They are strategic assets that can be leveraged in times of crisis. These relationships can provide access to resources, protection, and information that could be the difference between survival and disaster. And let's not forget, these connections don't just magically appear. They are carefully cultivated over time, built on trust, shared interests, and mutual benefit. So while you're busy stacking gold bars and filling your bunker with canned beans, don't neglect the power of a well-placed phone call or a friendly chat over a round of golf. In the end, who you know might just be as important as what you know. In the face of global conflict, the wealthy have a few secret weapons up their sleeves. Now let's get into the next 4 ways the wealthy are preparing for a potential World War III. It's not all stockpiling canned goods and building bunkers, though those are certainly part of the plan. No, the rich are thinking bigger, much bigger. First off, private islands. Having your very own refuge, a place to escape the chaos, is a luxury only the wealthy can afford. It's not just about the privacy, but also the autonomy. On their private islands, the rich can create a self-sustaining ecosystem far removed from any potential conflict zones. Next up, personal medical teams. Health is wealth, they say, and in times of crisis, this couldn't be truer. The wealthy are investing in having personal medical teams on standby. These are not just regular doctors, but highly trained professionals capable of performing surgeries, treating injuries, and managing health in the most dire of circumstances. Thirdly, survival training. Sure, money can buy a lot of things, but it can't buy survival instincts. That's why many wealthy individuals are investing time and resources into survival training. They are learning skills like navigation, first aid, and even combat. It's not just about surviving, it's about being prepared for anything that comes their way. Lastly, off-grid energy solutions. In a world where traditional power sources might become unreliable, the wealthy are turning to renewable energy. Solar panels, wind turbines, even geothermal energy are all part of the plan. This not only makes them self-sufficient, but also helps in reducing their carbon footprint. So there you have it, the secret weapons of the wealthy. These are not just about staying alive, but about maintaining a certain standard of living even in the worst-case scenarios. It's about foresight, preparation, and using resources to their maximum potential. With these secret weapons, the rich are not just surviving, but thriving. Lastly, the wealthy leave no stone unturned in their preparations. Now, if you're thinking, I've got my solid gold bunker, my network of influential friends, and my secret weapons, what else could I possibly need? Well, stick around. We're about to delve into the final 5 preparations that the rich take very seriously. First up, food and water storage. You might have the fanciest bunker in the world, but without adequate sustenance, you'll be hosting the world's most luxurious starvation party. The wealthy stock up on gourmet, non-perishable foods and ensure they have a sustainable water source, because even in the face of Armageddon, one must never compromise on the quality of their meals. Next, underground transportation. If the surface of the Earth becomes a little too end of the world for your liking, you'll want a way to get around without popping your head up. Wealthy folks invest in underground transportation systems. Think of it as a subway for the super rich. It's like the mole life, but with a touch of class. Moving on to diversified investments. In a post-apocalyptic world, your money's value could fluctuate wildly. The rich prepare for this by diversifying their investments across various asset classes and regions. It's like putting your eggs in different baskets and then scattering those baskets around the world. Then we have digital assets. In a world connected by the internet, digital currencies and assets could become the new gold. The wealthy are increasingly investing in these digital assets because, who knows, Bitcoin might just be the currency that buys you a chicken in the post-apocalyptic farmer's market. And finally, psychological preparation. The wealthy understand that the greatest asset they have is their mind. They invest time in mental preparedness, practicing mindfulness and resilience, because when the world is falling apart, keeping your cool might just be the difference between survival and, well, not survival. In the face of WW3, the rich are ready to bunker down and weather the storm. So, there you have it, the 17 ways rich people prepare for World War III. Let's take a quick trip down memory lane, shall we? Firstly, we've seen how the survival essentials are far from basic for the wealthy. Luxury bunkers stocked with years' worth of gourmet food and fine wines are the new normal. And let's not forget the importance of a good medical facility in these hideaways. I mean, what's the point of surviving the apocalypse if you can't do it in style, right? Next, we discuss the power of connections. It's not just about who you know, but who owes you a favor. In the face of impending doom, having people in high places willing to pull some strings is a game changer. Moving on to the secret weapons of the wealthy, technology and knowledge. From top-notch security systems to a personal library of survival guides, they've got all bases covered. Then we delved into the final preparations. These include things like diversifying their assets and ensuring they have a global footprint. Because let's face it, when you're rich, you don't just plan to survive, you plan to thrive wherever you end up. In the game of survival, the wealthy play to win. But remember, while these preparations might seem excessive, they underscore the importance of foresight, connections and resources in any survival scenario.